Good morning. It's Monday, September the 23rd, 2013. This is AGORACOM News TV. This is the show where on a daily basis I go through a bunch of press releases and try to find the best of those that I go over and try to give you some of my insights into what I see from that news that stands out. And ultimately the goal is to help you find investment winners and good companies to do your research on. I'm Alan Barry Labucan. I'm the Chief Market Commentator for AGORACOM. And on today's show, I have several press releases to go over. It was a really busy day this Monday in news. So I'm going to go over those right now. The first company I wanted to talk about is a company called Gold Resources. Gold Resources announced assay results from their Ox deposit, which is located 4 kilometers northwest of their West Seal discovery. And both deposits occur on the company's 100% owned UTSA property located adjacent to the producing Huckleberry mine south of Smithers, British Columbia. Some of those holes, one for example, hit a 64-meter intersection of 0.65% copper equivalent, including 24 meters of 0.72% copper equivalent. Had another hole with 109.5 meters of 0.54% copper equivalent, including 36 meters of 0.61% copper equivalent. Had a bunch more of those drill holes there in the press release that you can find on the company's website. The 2013 drilling at Ox deposit has focused on infilling and expanding near-surface mineralization along a higher-grade core that runs the length of the system, and they're looking to increase resource categories, tonnage, and grade of the deposit. They're now focusing on infilling and expanding the large resource base at the Seal deposit. There's a quote from Dr. Shane Ebert, who's the president of Gold Reach. He commented, and I quote, "Infill and step-out drilling at Ox continues to intersect strong grades within a continuous near-surface zone of mineralization. The company is extremely pleased with the advances made at the Ox deposit this year, and we look forward to further advancing the deposit through metallurgical test work and a pit-constrained resource update expected later in the year." End quote. So this company has some very thick intersections of interesting and promising grades of copper. They're working towards a resource calculation, so they'll be able to come out with some idea of how big the project is later this year. So I'll be interested in seeing those results. The stock symbol on this one is GRU, and they trade on the Venture Exchange. The next press release I wanted to go over was Ivanhoe Mines. They have agreed on terms for a non-brokered common share private placement with a group of investors. They're doing a $100 million. They'll issue no less than 50 million new Class A common shares at $2 a share to raise a total of 100 million. And may rise the issue up to a total of 54 million. Mr. Friedland will subscribe for 24 million of the offering, effectively proportionate to his holdings in the company. Proceeds will advance the development of the company's Kamoa copper discovery and the Kipushi zinc, copper, lead, germanium, precious metals project, and for general corporate purposes. There's a they noted that Lars Erik Johansson has previously disclosed confidential discussions and the conduct of due diligence are continuing with the selected number of leading international private and state-owned mining companies that have expressed interest in participating in the company's assets, both at the project and corporate levels. The quote, he added, ongoing talks could lead to the formation of a significant strategic corporate partnership or syndicate for continued exploration and the development of the company's discoveries and associated infrastructure, end quote. So there you go, Ivanhoe Mines. I recently added them to our featured list on our, they were one of the companies in our best of the best in weekly news, run by Robert Friedland. He has a big interest in this in the company. They've got some very interesting group of projects. The stock symbol's IVN, and they trade on the Toronto Exchange. The next company I wanted to talk about today is McEwen Mining. McEwen Mining provided results of an updated preliminary economic assessment on its 100% owned Los Azules copper project in San Juan Province, Argentina. The results from the PEA demonstrate that Los Azules has the potential to become one of the largest, lowest cost copper mines in the world. In addition, there remains excellent exploration potential to further expand the size of the existing mineralized resource. Highlights from the PEA are, some of them include pre-tax net present value of $3 billion with an 8% discount rate and an internal rate of return of 17.6%. After-tax NPV of $1.78 billion and an IRR of 14.3%. Annual copper production during years 1 to 5 to average 255,000 tons or 563 million pounds of copper, which would have placed it in the top 3% of copper mines in the world during 2012. Life of mine annual copper production to average 171,000 tons or 377 million pounds over 35 years. Cash operating costs during years 1 to 5 to average 87 cents per pound copper net of gold byproduct, placing it in the bottom 14% in the world during 2012. Cash operating costs over entire mine life to average $1.08 per pound net of gold byproduct. Wow, that's a very low number. Indicated resource of 5.4 billion pounds of copper and 800,000 ounces of gold, and inferred resource of 14.3 billion pounds of copper and 2.6 million ounces of gold. Initial capital cost to construct the mine and a 120 ton per day process plant have been estimated at $3.9 billion. Capital payback on a pre-tax basis has been estimated at 3.8 years at $3 per pound copper and $1,300 per ounce gold. There's a quote from Rob McEwen, who is the chief owner of McEwen Mining. He stated in our quote, "Our updated PEA is a result of a very successful exploration program which has significantly increased our resources. Combined with a change in the process method, the estimated mine life has increased by 37%, total copper production by 44%, and production cost per pound of copper remain low. The new PEA includes plans for producing a copper cathode at site, which will greatly reduce export taxes and project risk by eliminating the need for a slurry pipeline," end quote. So, this is a very well-run company. Rob McEwen is a big owner of the company, really putting his money where his mouth is on that. I'm really liking the numbers that I see from here. Low-cost producer, one of the largest producers in the world of copper. We need a lot more copper. I'll be interested to watch how they develop this project. When you've got a guy like Rob McEwen, he's been a significant mine builder in the past, and I think he's got a great shot of having another one here. The stock symbol on McEwen Mining is MUX, and it trades on the Toronto Exchange. The next company I wanted to talk about today was Scorpio Gold. They released further results from their 2013 satellite deposit drilling program at their 70% owned Mineral Ridge project located in Nevada. They hit a hole that returned 22.30 grams per ton gold over 10.67 meters. combined with prior drilling, significant grades over substantial widths have now been intersected in 4 consecutive holes with the mineralized open in 3 directions. The indicated mineralized zone trends north and lies along the edge of a geophysical magnetic high. It has been intersected at 85 to 115 meters of vertical depth. Although not accessible by open pit mining, may be amenable to underground extraction should further results support underground development. Historical underground workings are known to lie approximately 180 meters to the east. The significance of these drill results in context with their structural and geophysical settings will be evaluated for their first follow-up drilling. What I found interesting about this project is, first of all, I looked at the drill results and I saw that in the nearer surface, they had, in the shallower drilling, they had okay results, not very thick and fairly moderate grades. But then as they got deeper, they hit this high grade. So I'm going to be really interested to see what their additional drilling will reveal as they get into this higher grade area. Interesting project in Nevada. The symbol is SGN, and they trade on the Venture Exchange. The next company is Fortuna Silver Mines. They've completed construction and commissioning on their processing plant's expansion project to 1,800 tons per day at their San Jose mine in Oaxaca, Mexico, on time and on budget. The plant expansion capital expenditures was $9 million, and the mill is now operational at 1,800 tons per day. Fortuna is on schedule to meet its annual production guidance of 4.5 million ounces of silver and 23,600 ounces of gold, or 5.9 million ounces of silver equivalent in 2013. Jorge Ganoza, who's the president and chief executive officer of Fortuna, commented, and I quote, "Once again, our project team did an exceptional job in delivering the construction and commissioning of the mill expansion on time and on budget. The processing plant's milling capacity has been increased by 57% from 1,150 tons per day to 1,800 tons per day. Moving forward, our focus at San Jose is to incorporate the high-grade Trinidad North discovery into our production plans by the first quarter of 2015. End quote. This company has several very good projects. I like the growth potential based on the pipeline of projects that they have. I like that Fortuna Silver is a silver-focused company. It's really difficult to find a lot of, companies that are seriously focused on silver, and Fortuna is definitely one that I like a lot. Their stock symbol is FVI, and that trades on the Toronto Exchange. The next release I wanted to talk about today is Colossus Minerals. Colossus has provided a development update on their 75% owned Serra Pelada gold, platinum, palladium mine. The Serra Pelada mine is a joint venture between Colossus and there's a long name to the partner down there. They abbreviate it to COOMIGASP, which is located, the project is located in the state of Para, Brazil. They're on track with their dewatering program expansion. As of September 17th, 6 of the originally planned 10 wells are pumping, and total dewatering output is 83,000 cubic meters per hour. They've got a whole bunch more details about the dewatering. There's a quote from Claudio Mancuso, who's the chief executive officer of Colossus Minerals. He commented, and I quote, "After the setback related to dewatering experienced in July, the company's dewatering and underground development activities are progressing according to the remediation plan communicated in mid-July. Completion of the first phase of the ventilation system expansion provides a 4-fold increase in underground airflow and allows us to begin ramping up development with increased manpower and equipment in September. The underground team achieved development on 4 separate phases in August, and we remain on track to have 5 access drives ready to enter the central mineralized zone in December. So they had some setbacks there. These things can happen in the development of a mine. I'm really excited about this project and have followed it for a long time because it has high-grade platinum, gold, palladium, and silver in this deposit. It looks like it's going to be a real winner, and they're not that far from getting towards production. It looks like December of this year that will happen. The stock symbol is CSI, and they trade on the Toronto Exchange. The next press release I wanted to talk about today is from Pretium Resources. They released additional underground drill results from their Valley of the Kings bulk sample program currently underway, as well as additional exploration drilling in the Valley of the Kings extending beyond the area of the program. Assays from both program and non-program exploration underground drilling continues to confirm the projection of a high-grade gold mineralized domains with numerous intersections encountering gold grading over 1,000 grams per ton. For example, they had 6,550 grams per ton over a half a meter in one hole. They had another hole with 698 grams of gold over 2.97 meters. Another hole hit 66 grams of gold over 13 meters. Another hole had 195 grams per ton gold over 9.29 meters. 7 high-grade intersections. The latest results exceed 1,000 grams per ton. This is an extremely high-grade system here. In those extreme high grades, you don't need a lot of thick intersections. Often they're in these narrow veins. But if you can get enough of that material, and it certainly looks like they have that potential, you could have a very highly profitable high-grade mine, underground mine. The stock symbol on that one is PVG, and that trades on the Toronto Exchange. The next press release is from Exeter. Exeter Resource Corp is evaluating a new approach for potential development of their Caspiche gold copper deposit in Chile. They are assessing the option for open pit mining the near surface oxide zone, and then subsequent underground mining of the central higher grade portion of the underlying gold copper sulfide deposit. Their goal is to investigate lower capital costs and scalable mining alternatives that are more flexible and appropriate to economic conditions in the foreseeable future than the large-scale, capital-intensive super pit scenario proposed in the January 2012 pre-feasibility study. The approach is to consider both a standalone open pit oxide gold operation as well as a similar initial operation that then later combines with the underground mining of the central higher grade gold copper sulfide core. Excuse me. There's a quote from Exeter's President CEO Wendell Zerb, who stated, and I quote, "Our project is unique in that it provides development optionality. Unlike a number of deposits in the Maricunga region of Chile, Caspiche has a surface oxide gold zone with very little waste rock or a low strip ratio and relatively rapid gold recovery characteristics or fast leach kinetics. In addition, within the large Caspiche gold copper sulfide deposit, a central higher grade core potentially lends itself to modest cost, large-scale open stope underground mining. The benefit could be a staged mine plan starting with open pit mining of the oxide gold zone and transitioning to underground mining of the copper gold zone." End quote. Then there's also a quote from their co-chairman, Yale Simpson, who stated, and I quote, We believe our new approach to developing Caspice makes maximum use of its unique features. Once economics are confirmed, we believe this approach would represent a superior corporate strategy under the existing market conditions and set a new benchmark in the trend to lower capex staged mine development. This initiative does not preclude the potential development of a large-scale open pit scenario under different market circumstances. End quote. Exeter has an exceptionally good project down there in Chile. It's got a lot of copper and millions of ounces of gold. It looks like they're now looking at a couple different methods of producing that on at a staged level. So they were looking originally at a very large super pit, and now they're focusing in on some more scalable type production where they can start out smaller, less capital costs, and build up from there, which is an interesting option that this project gives the company. The stock symbol is XRC, and they trade on the Toronto Exchange. The next company is TSX Gold Resources. They've intercepted high-grade gold, silver, copper mineralization over significant widths beyond the recently published Media Luna inferred resources. Highlighted intercepts in Media Luna but outside of the resource area include 12.96 grams per ton gold, equivalent over 10.8 meters in one hole, and 10.26 grams per ton gold equivalent over 6.6 meters in another hole. They had another in Media Luna West. They had a significant intercept of 9.81 grams per ton of gold equivalent over 4.8 meters in one of the holes. In addition, they've done a recent magnetic survey over the entire project, and it suggests a 26% increase in the area of the three magnetic anomalies in the Media Luna area. So obviously they've got more drilling targets to focus on there. There's a quote from Fred Stanford, who's the president and CEO of TSX. He stated, and I quote, "The gold potential south of the river continues to be very prospective and encouraging. We look forward to drill testing the interpreted magnetic connections between Media Luna West and Media Luna and to understanding the potential that it might offer. Todos Santos, the third magnetic anomaly in the Media Luna area, also shows significant promise. We are pushing a road down to the first Todos Santos drill platform and anticipate the start of drilling before year-end. A great deal more work is required to fully understand the nature and overall potential of the entire 29,000 hectare of the claim area. The expansion of the footprint of the Media Luna area magnetic anomalies to 630 hectares means that the recently released resource covers only 24% of the interpreted magnetic area. In addition, the resource also occur over an additional 30 hectares in an area outside of the main magnetic anomaly. In the Media Luna area, magnetism can indicate potential mineralization, but a lack of magnetism does not necessarily indicate a lack of mineralization. We look forward to continuing efforts to fully evaluate that many untested targets both north and south of the river." This is an interesting project. I like the grades that I'm seeing there. It's in Mexico. So yeah, very interesting stuff there. The stock symbol on that one is TXG, and that trades on Toronto. And the final news release today is from our friends over at Fission Uranium and Alpha Minerals. These are the two companies that we talk a lot about because of the great results they're getting from their high-grade uranium discovery at called Patterson Lake South. They announced this discovery of a fifth zone of high-grade uranium mineralization with off-scale radioactivity on their Patterson Lake South property in the Athabasca Basin, Saskatchewan. The first hole on line 585E intersected 76 meters total composite mineralization, including 7.62 meters total composite off-scale radioactivity. And then they go into details about how close that is to, or how much of a step out that is. The highlight includes the 5th high-grade zone, 76 meters that they mentioned in the opening paragraph. Ross McElroy, who's the President, Chief Executive Officer, and Chief Geologist for Fission, commented, and I quote, "The first hole of zone R585E has intersected considerable breadth of mineralization and off-scale radioactivity. Just as important is that the location R585E halves the gap between high-grade zones R390E and R780E. This narrowing of the distance between zones is continued proof that PLS is host to a mineralized system of considerable size and strength." End quote. You know, these are the preliminary results. These companies, they use a handheld scintillometer, which gives them an indication of the radioactivity. It's not the lab results. We still have to wait for those lab results, but there is a pretty good correlation between high grade and these off-scale type numbers. What Mr. McElroy said there is quite important, that it looks like they might have two zones that are connected. And in these super high-grade systems, you don't need a huge footprint, meaning like a large area of mineralization, in order to have millions and millions of pounds of uranium. They tend to be kind of small in tonnage, but very high grade. But these guys are finding that the potential for a pretty significant footprint relative to the grade. So this is really one of the best. It is the best uranium discovery I've seen in many years. I think that as these two companies merge their interest in the Patterson Lake South, that there's a high probability that this project will be taken over by a major in the future and developed into a mine. It's a very exciting project. The stock symbol on fission uranium is FCU. That's on the Venture Exchange, and their 50/50 partner, Alpha Minerals, is AMW, and that also trades on the Venture Exchange. So that's all the news for today. Before closing, I always like to give you an idea of what we do here. One is on a daily basis. As I said earlier, I go through all the press releases, try to find the best of those, give you my insight as to why they stood out to me. I've been doing this kind of daily practice since I started my reports back in 2005, and it's how I've been able to find a lot of winners over the years, and I think that it'll help you find some winners as well. We also do a show at the end of the week called Best of the Best in Weekly News, where I take the best news from the daily shows and try to highlight those again on the end of the week show. George Cholas, the founder of AGORACOM, and I do that one together. So we're putting out a lot of great shows here at agoracom.com, and they can find them also on allenberryreports.com. And on that note, before closing, I always like to stress that it's important for you to do your homework and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. You have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.